In the crowded markets of Renaissance Florence, the artist Leonardo da Vinci spent his own money to buy wooden cages full of small birds, just to open the doors and watch them bursting into the sky. He bought these birds to memorize the exact articulation of their wings. Later, in a candlelit workshop, his quill pen would be scratching across paper, translating those living movements into frantic, detailed sketches of bone and feather. For 1,000 years, European scholars had looked for truth exclusively in ancient books. If you had a question about the physical world, you consulted a library of Greek philosophy or theology, treating nature itself as a temporary backdrop to the drama of human sin. Inside his workshop, Leonardo discarded that 1,000-year-old dogma. He realized the ancient authors had never actually tested their claims against reality, and he decided to build a new foundation for knowledge. He filled thousands of loose pages with chaotic, private notes that treated the universe as an integrated machine. To Leonardo, every natural force followed a set of laws that could be deciphered if a human being simply looked closely enough. This shift, moving the source of authority from the ancient manuscript to the evidence of the human eye, became the intellectual engine of the Italian Renaissance. Leonardo's notebooks functioned as a private laboratory. On a single page, his mind argues with itself in real time, jumping from the geometry of shadows to the flow of river currents. Writing in a backwards mirror script allowed the left-handed artist to pull his pen without smudging the wet ink, a fluid workflow keeping pace with his racing thoughts. These thoughts immediately turned into engineering, designing machines for human flight and complex gear systems. He called himself a disciple of experience, or esperienza. He operated on the conviction that direct, physical observation was the only reliable source of truth, regardless of what the old books claimed. Drawing was his primary method of scientific reasoning. He used the line to test the structure of reality, proving that for a mind like his, there was no meaningful boundary between art and science. To understand the human machine, he broke strict social taboos to dissect corpses. He mapped the valves of the heart to understand the fluid dynamics of pumping blood, treating the body as a masterpiece of plumbing. That internal plumbing behaved exactly like the world outside. He realized that the bird wings he studied in the market followed the same physical rules as the wind and the water. He identified universal patterns repeating throughout nature. The invisible flow of air over a wing behaved identically to the swirling vortexes of water wrapping around a stone in a mountain stream. This habit of careful looking scaled up to the landscape itself. Walking through the high Tuscan mountains, Leonardo noticed dense marine seashell deposits far inland. Standard theological doctrine claimed these were left by the biblical flood. Leonardo rejected this by calculating the weight of the shells and the speed of the water, proving that a single temporary flood could not account for their position deep inside the rock. By studying how rivers carry sediment, he realized the Earth's crust was constantly shifting. He conceptualized a planet shaped by slow, physical processes over eons, stretching back far beyond the reach of human memory. There is a tragedy built into Leonardo's method. Because he treated his notebooks as a private dialogue with himself, these observations remained unpublished, failing to immediately change the course of European science. His obsessive curiosity also meant he rarely finished what he started. A single question about how light hits a face could lead to years of optical research, leaving his royal patrons frustrated and his commissions incomplete. While his science remained hidden for centuries, that rigor is exactly what gives his surviving art its power. The subtle anatomical structure of a face and the distant, deep-time geology of a background are the direct results of his life as an observer. His story demonstrates that observation alone is not enough to change history. For a discovery to truly transform the world, it must be shared, published, and communicated to others. Leonardo da Vinci's most enduring legacy is the application of experientia, the rigorous testing of reality through the human eye. He demonstrated that a human mind could operate independently of inherited tradition, viewing nature as a rational, observable system. The Renaissance marked a transition in where we look for the truth. In Leonardo's workshop, authority moved from the ancient manuscript to the physical evidence of the senses. He showed us that the mechanics of the universe are not hidden in a secret text. To understand how the world works, you simply have to start paying attention to it.